Ladies and gentlemen, speaking of people who will probably hand over their car if you just so much as look at them wrong, St. Paul, the city of St. Paul, recently has shut down one of the largest homeless encampments that they have. This population surge is getting over to a nearby camp located in the woods along Randolph Avenue and Shepherd Road. It's directly across from a luxury apartment complex. So, the displaced residents, several miles up the Mississippi River, they have relocated. The population at the Randolph site roughly doubled just over the last few days. This was already a camp, but then they had some, the Hooverville, the main Hooverville, Pig's Eye Park, it got slain. The cops went in there, they broke it up, and they needed a new place to have their open air drug market. So they hiked it up north a little ways up the Mississippi like pilgrims. That's the thing about the homeless, is they're the only ones keeping up the like old, really live off the land lifestyle. You know, when you read like Little House on the Prairie and it was these people that were like struggling to keep the house warm during winter, that's what a lot of these homeless people do. There's little families, there's like, they have little covered wagons that are made out of shopping carts. It's kind of like a little fairy tale. It's really nice if you think about it in a way. It's drawn a lot of reactions from the tenants at the neighboring Waterford Bay Apartments. Residents report a noticeable increase in local police activity and emergency calls. Some apartment dwellers express concern over rising property crimes and trespassing. Others voice empathy for their new neighbors. Oh, wow. That's the Minnesota bleeding heart for you. They're acknowledging that those living in the tents are simply trying to survive and build a drug community. They just said a community, but I know that it's a drug community during difficult economic times. It's been a difficult economic time for these people since they decided to go camping forever. That's the tough thing for them. Encampment residents are saying that the wooded lot provides a necessary safe haven while they navigate the search for permanent housing. These people are not searching for permanent housing. They're searching for permanent handouts. St. Paul and Ramsey County officials emphasized that severe public health and safety concerns drove the original Pig's Eye clearance, noting that local government has allocated over $1 million to expand regional shelter beds. However, community advocates and area lawmakers are cautioning that the sudden shutdown of the established camps without guaranteeing any long-term housing is merely shifting the population from one neighborhood to another. So, I agree. This is fun. They should have said, look, listen, you're going to have to leave the entire city. If you go anywhere, we're just going to arrest you. Unfortunately, we got to chase them out. Saint, whatever his name is, Saint Patrick, Saint Urho, whatever your saint is that chased, whether it was snakes or crickets, or when you chase something out of a region, you have to do the full job. You have to play your flute. You have to swing a rod at them or something. You have to really clear out the snakes. Otherwise, they're just going to come back. Saint Urho had to clear out all of the snakes from Finland. Saint what's his name? Saint Patrick. God, it's Monday morning. You got to forgive me. Saint Patrick cleared all the fucking grasshoppers. We need a Saint Paul to come clear out all the homeless people.
The closure of one homeless encampment means another is growing in St. Paul. WCCO took you inside this encampment.
Now, this is like St. Paul trying to go in for cancer treatment. They scraped out the malignant tumor that they thought was the main issue, but unfortunately, like Biden, it already metastasized to the bone, and now it's spreading throughout the body.
Another is growing in St. Paul.
It's growing. Another tumor has already started to grow. It has teeth in it and eyes developing.
WCCO took you inside this encampment on the city's west side this week. People living there tell us the population doubled over the past few days. And as our Connor White shows us, it's also causing problems for a luxury apartment complex next door.
Chelsea Diver found herself on the move again this week.
This is some of the people from Pig's Eye over here.
Part of a group that is settling in an encampment off Randolph Road and Shepherd Avenue after the city of St. Paul shut down the encampment at Pig's Eye Park. A longtime Randolph resident estimates the population here doubled, believing more than 100 people now live around the tracks on
By the way, you really got to try to be homeless. It's tough. It's not tough to hold a job. It's not tough to show up to work. It's not tough to pay your rent. It's tough to set up a tent every single night. It's granted, if you're like a not very committal person, if you're not oriented towards trying, if you're not oriented towards whatever, it's going to be tough to hold down a job, to do any of those sorts of things, to actually maintain income. Unfortunately, though, I think that you're better off. Learning to push yourself a teensy bit if it means that you're going to avoid. Like I said, this is sleeping out in the elements.
Trails deep in the woods, where Diver says she feels safe.
This is home. This is my area.
I can tell why this is home. I can see the ashtray on the bench. Look at your muffin top. It's peeking out from underneath your gross... This is like a tank top. You're carrying in a garbage bag. God, you're a filthy woman.
The city pointed to assaults, drug use, and medical emergencies as a reason to first close Pig's Eye. The plan is to then close others like this one.
Good.
And in the meantime, as the Randolph camp grows, tenants at the luxury Waterford Bay apartments across the street are seeing a change.
It's gotten a lot worse over by us.
Gabby Anderson says she's lived here for 2 years. She says she feels for the people living outside, but says the situation has gotten more dangerous.
We all just want to get along and have kind of like a kumbaya, but at the end of the day, like, you know, they are breaking into people's cars, they're entering the building, like, they're doing things that, you know, we're not, like, super comfortable with.
There are some tents down here just off the Randolph Bridge, and if you walk with me, the woods eventually come to this border fence with the apartment building, which is here.
Wow.
Do their thing with living our life.
Ryan Garcia says it's mostly peaceful and some tenants are helping donate supplies. He says police are now turning up more often, posting additional no trespassing signs outside the luxury units.
We weren't harming nobody. We're not doing nothing bad.
Inside the camp, people tell us they just want to be left to build community.
Build community. That means they want to build open-air drug markets. It's expert. It's, you know what I mean? It's the Minnesota passive-aggressive way to say it, though. We're not hurting nobody, this Indian girl.
Not doing nothing bad.
Inside the camp, people tell us they just want to be left to build community. But city leadership says these spots are illegal and pose a major public safety threat.
Oh my God.
The day of the Pig's Eye shutdown, Mayor Khalil Herr stated that each person was offered shelter and resources, with her team emphasizing the safety issue at hand. Fellow Democrat Lee Finke, who represents St. Paul in the State House, says the shutdown was a mistake.
Really, the fish hatchery location was very accessible, and now people are living at a much less accessible and much smaller place with more people and fewer resources. I mean, it's really going to be an issue, and I'm not sure what we should do at this point going forward.
Representative Finke says she pushed to avoid closing any of the camps before establishing permanent housing options. The city of St. Paul and Ramsey County are spending at least $1 million expanding shelter beds, but so far we're told just a handful of people from Pig's Eye are actually making use of them, Derek.
All right, and it's going to be very interesting to see what happens.
You're going to be very interesting to see what happens. You know what I mean? I love it. I love all of this. I love that the city of Minneapolis, St. Paul more specifically, they're getting a handle on it no matter how messy it is. Mayor Khalil Herr is taking a break from those sexual, not assault, harassment allegations to go ahead and clear up some homeless people. Good for her. Minnesota's AG is also talking about legal action regarding the two rival gangs. However, when you have, a criminal running running the position that he does, the AG of a state, it's going to be tough because the criminals don't tend to persecute other criminals. It's when Minneapolis and more specifically Minnesota, you have inmates running the asylum, like AG Keith Ellison.
Some may say, well, why give them access to the state fair, period? Why not just completely ban them from the premises and just get them away from this, where we know we're going to have, close to 2 million people? Why still allow them to have access to the fair if this goes through?
Yeah, because we believe that there are constitutional challenges with banning somebody from the fair when there has not been an act yet. See, the reason
they're just a part of gangs. And they could, they could be up to something. We don't know if they're going to attack the state fair of Minnesota, but it could happen. We just can't ban them.
Is that it is looking at threats that they've made in their history, but they have not yet committed an act that is constitutionally trespassable. And so
this is what Keith Ellison wants. He wants his boys to have a chance to run in there, clank a couple white people on the heads with whatever they might happen to have. They can pick up something from the ground. They can use their fists. But he wants all of his boys to have a chance to run into the state fair, clank a couple people on the head, steal a couple bags, eventually maybe steal a couple cars. And he wants them to have a good time before he even considers banning any street gangs from Minneapolis's or Minnesota's state fair.
That's the reason. If they choose not to come to the fair, that will be their choice. I will tell them if they do.
We are hoping that the gangs choose not to come to the fair. That's how we're going to keep them away.
And they have to act responsibly and according to the law and according to the requirements of the injunction we're seeking.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, feel at ease. If the gangs do end up showing up to the state fair, they have to follow the laws. All right, that's gonna prevent them from breaking any laws that they've already broken in the streets. They're not gonna do it because we've said they can't. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get a little